Hello, everybody. Welcome back to cartoon season. I forgot the name. I am Tyler, and today I'm talking about an anime called Ya Boy Kongming. I think that's how you say it. Anime that just aired very recently, last season, and it was a show that I loved very much. I was kind of a surprise to me with how good the show was. Just wasn't one that was super on my radar at the beginning, but by the end, definitely was. So yeah, just a couple things I want to touch on with this show. I want to touch on Kongming the Tactician and kind of how he lives up to that. I want to talk about Aiko being real, because there's a lot of stuff that she has to face, a lot of fake people, a lot of the industry and stuff, and she doesn't succumb to that, and lastly, I do want to talk about a possible season 2. I don't believe a season 2 has been confirmed, but I would very much like one. And there's a couple things I'd like to see, I guess. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So let's begin. So like I said, let's talk about Kongming the Tactician. So first, he got isekai'd, right? For the most part, again, isekai generally is one world to another. He's still in the same world, he's just in the future. So once he gets there, after hearing Aiko sing, he vows to be her tactician because he's never heard anything so beautiful. He's never heard something that's moved him so much. He was very disoriented coming into this new world, and like that was the one thing that he was like, "Wow, this is beautiful. This is passion." So there's a bunch of examples of that of him succeeding. He devises a stratagem to confuse the audience, preventing them from leaving Aiko's performance. Because that was a thing where like Aiko was being tricked basically, and so he was like, "I'm gonna use this to my advantage. I'm going to use a stratagem that I used back in war," and it's basically a thing that lets people come into the room and never leave because they're confused because of the way the room is lined up, because of the feng shui. It's just tough to leave. It gets confusing, it gets disorienting, which is great, Also, it's Aiko's singing helps a little bit, but we'll hang on that for a second. But yeah, so just him being able to carry over his wartime, his wartime experience into this is very interesting to watch, and it's also ridiculous how well it translates. Because he succeeds. Like he was able to get, I don't know, hundreds of people, into Aiko's room and see her performance, where before that there was 3, On top of that, at another point, he fakes tech issues and has Aiko start singing when Jet Jack is addressing the audience. So again, there's little things there where he's faking tech issues to, kind of have them start late, as well as giving off the aura of being an amateur, which they are amateurs, but to kind of show their belly, before they turn around and give the knife, as well as having Aiko start singing right when Jet Jack is addressing the audience, which is a downtime for them because no music is playing. No one is singing, so it's somewhat quieter on their side, so it helps Aiko stand out and be noticed in that one moment, grab your attention, have the hook, and then perform to keep you there. So again, very, very clever, very, very, very clever ruse. He also does something that isn't really necessary, very out of left field, but it shows more of his character, which is him showing Jet Jacket the sore throat medicine. Didn't have to do that, didn't have to help him out in any way, shape, or form, but he does. Again, it shows that he is a good person. He's not evil. He's not just ripping other people's throats out to make Aiko famous. It's not what he's doing. But also shows that he is honorable. Like he shows them that he helps them get better. It could also be a little bit of like, hey, if I'm gonna have rivals, I want them to be at their best. There's no satisfaction in beating someone that clearly was never gonna beat you. Why have a competition at all if there is no competition? Aside from that, he holds a battle rap event, pulling in Kabe Taijin. That was huge on two fronts. One, he was able to lure Kabe back into the battle rap scene, and was also able to bring the most out of him, which is something that no one has been able to do for quite a while at this point. I think like months, maybe like a year or two, I think, something like that. But the second front is that they need Kabe because as a rap act to kind of balance off Aiko's singing performances, and it just makes the team stronger. You know, it adds another element that Aiko just can't simply provide because that's not what she does. You know, so two fronts, very clever by Kongming. He then has them perform pretending to be Azalea. Again, very clever to get there. They know what their plan is, so we're going to pretend to be them to get that initial audience. And just trick everyone, I guess. You know, a very short-sighted plan, until you realize that there's more to it, right? Where on one hand, he wants to use the alienation stratagem, but changes plans out of respect for Aiko's feelings for Nanami, because essentially that was going to alienate them. You know, like especially it was going to destroy Aiko's relationship with Nanami. And he just knew he couldn't do that. Like he cares too much for Aiko, and while this is war, this isn't war. You know? And like he knew that Aiko was going to do whatever it took. But he also knew that if they went that route, Aiko was going to have regrets, and it was probably going to eat her alive. And because of all that, Kongming probably wouldn't be able to sit pretty either. So they kind of go the other way, where it's just, kind of allowing Aiko's performance, kind of first having Kabe bait them, into kind of diminishing Azalea's image a little bit, and then having Aiko's straight up performance rally all of them and be like, oh no, Aiko's actually dope. And then further on top of that, because Kongming never does the bare minimum. He always has the extra sparkles and the, so he posts Azalea's real performance online, which is where they perform without the industry fluff, and causes them to attract their real fans who care about their actual music and not just being paid for scanning a QR code, which is awesome because, again, it's another thing where it's like, hey, I want to make my adversary stronger because I want to beat them at their best, but also he's a human, and also he knows that Aiko cares for her, so it's like, hey, we don't want to destroy, like, Kongming so far has not gone out to destroy anyone in particular. I would say like Mia sucked, right? Mia was a terrible character, but like Jet Jacket, they weren't bad people. They just kind of, the industry, what happened with them, and they just kind of rolled with what they became, with their like new sound or whatever. And it's the same thing with Azalea, where it's like, he didn't destroy them. He destroyed their image, but he gave them a new one, which isn't really a new one. It's the one that Nanami and them wanted from the start, So he paved them the path that they always really wanted to take, but they never felt they really could. And then they end up winning the contest. So like all in all, he succeeds, They won the contest. They're going on to the Summer Sonia, and they're about to do it, So very happy for them. And Kongming, I can't wait to see. Hopefully we see. I can't wait to see what other stuff he comes up with, because he's incredible and it always works, But moving on from that, like I said, I want to talk about Aiko being real and not really succumbing to the industry, I guess. So at the very beginning, we see that Aiko considered suicide at one point. Doesn't really get more real than that. She was at a very low point. She had no self-confidence whatsoever. And she was just ready to throw in the towel. Be like, there's no point. There's no point. But she was saved by the owner of the bar, I forget his name, and it all kind of spiraled from there. Well, spiraled in a good way, not a bad way. Her singing attracted Kongming, which is the most organic thing possible, where it's like she didn't seek him out. She didn't, you know, Kongming wasn't this like well-known analyst, and she was like, "Ooh, I gotta get him to be on my team." Like, no, she just sang like she normally did, and Kongming came and diamond in the rough. You know, for both of them, I guess they're both kind of diamonds in the rough in their own rights. She gets tricked by Mia, who's using her to boost her own image. Very tough. Again, that's a thing that I'm sure amateurs go through all the time in real life, even. But she doesn't let it get her down, where she does perform her heart out. And while it's Kongming's stratagem that kind of gets everyone there and kind of keeps them there initially, it's Aiko's performance and singing and all of that has them really staying. You know, because if she sucked, they could very well start booing. You know, be like, "Boo, let us out! Like, what's going on? This place sucks. You suck." You know what I mean? But they didn't. And not only did they not do that, they started to follow her. That was her first big boost in like social media following, right? What else does she do? She has one of the best performances ever for someone that was on the amateur festival stage, right? Like that set records. No one's ever done that well. You know, normally people have to build up before they get a performance like that. But her singing was just that incredible and that engrossing. She goes for broke, aiming for the Summer Sonia. She didn't have to do that. She could have went the easy route and went for the other one that had a guaranteed ticket with a smaller audience, one that she probably would have been more comfortable with because she is very new to all this, you know. She's only had, aside from the bar, she's only performed that once at, you know, opposite of Mia, and then at that little festival stage, you know, the amateur festival stage. So it's like having a smaller stepping stone probably would have been the more sensible option, but she goes for broke. She's like, "Nope, I'm doing Summer Sonia. I'm about to destroy this." So that's awesome. Aiko sings on the street with Nanami, something that she doesn't really have to do, but she understands that she needs more experience and she needs to find herself. And what better way than just singing on the street, experimenting, having people give real-time feedback, having people walk by you, and if they don't care, they don't care. They will just keep walking, you know. And her also meeting Nanami, you know, in that whole arc and that relationship, love it. And then even by the end of it, when Nanami confesses who she really is, she still wants to sing again with Nanami. She's like, "No, like, I love you. You're great. I want to sing with you again. I want to sing with you. Not the Azalea version of you that, you know, you have to be because of this, and this. I want to sing with Nanami again." And she'd have to do that. She'd have to keep that relationship, especially because they are essentially rivals in this whole, you know, this whole 100,000 like challenge. And not only does she want to sing with her again, she finds a new purpose for singing, which is to save Nanami with her music. Absolutely crazy. Like it just doesn't get more like passionate and more determined than this. She finally does find her voice and records a new song with Kid called Dreamer, which is great. It's another step where she, you know, again, like that was Kid's whole thing, where it's like, yeah, you have potential, you can sing pretty well, but I don't really hear you in your music. And so she had to kind of learn how to do that, because that's another thing that's great about this show, is that she's not just incredible. She's not just like the best of the best. Like she goes through a lot of learning periods, and you know, there's nothing better in a show than having someone learn something and like get better and better, and then, you know, to the point where you're looking back on this character and you're like, wow, they used to be not good, and now they're just like stealing hearts left and right, you know. She eventually does sing Dreamer, moving everyone, especially Nanami, which again, she succeeds. Like she moves, she saves Nanami with her music, you know. Like it gets to her. Nanami starts crying. She rips off the mask. She's like, "I'm not doing this anymore. Azalea is Azalea, and we're gonna do it the way we want to do it." I don't think she would have ever done that if she never met Aiko. I think there is a very slim chance that would have happened without her. And then just to reiterate, they win the contest. They win the contest, and they're going to the Summer Sonia, and it's going to be fantastic. But with that, people, season 2, beginning of season 2. I don't think a season 2 has been announced. I don't even know if one is in the works. I have no idea. But the show ends in a place where it's like there can be more story. You know, that there can clearly be more story. That I feel like there's way more stuff for us to go through with all these characters. So some stuff I want to touch on with that. We're just assuming there's going to be a season 2 here for a moment. I can't wait to see Aiko and Kabe perform at the Summer Sonia. It's going to be cool to see them perform in front of that many people. They've never done that before. Also see them perform together. That's going to be cool. Maybe have more chemistry and stuff like that. I'm interested to see what new songs they'll have, because I'm sure there'll be new songs. I can't wait to see what new songs Aiko writes and what ones that Kabe writes, or they write together. They contribute to each other's music, all that stuff. Will they gain more members? Are we going to get more than just Aiko and Kabe? Is there going to be another singer, another rapper, another, maybe some dancers? I don't know. I don't know what could be there, but I'm interested. We already had Aiko to start, and then we gained Kabe, so I'm sure we could get more people. What other hurdles will present themselves? It's the music industry. I'm sure there's a million hurdles that could possibly manifest, but let's just see what they are, whether the performances, or whether getting more people, or whether getting, bigger, whether, people are upset that they destroyed Azalea. We saw other members or other groups that were in the 100,000 challenge, so will we see those again? We'll see about that. Will Kongming have any other flashes to his own time? We did have a brief thing where we thought for a hot second that Kongming got reverse isekai'd, where he got isekai'd back to his own time, and I was very scared, guys. I was very scared. It's like, we can't do this. We have still so much to do. Aiko will miss him. Kabe will miss him. The bar owner will miss him because of the stories they can share. Kongming, I'm sure, has grown fond of everyone. I'm sure he'll miss it. To a certain extent. Like, no, we need to go back. But it was just a flash. But it'd be cool to see if he has any more flashes and how they incorporate themselves into his tactician status with Aiko and Kabe. And then I do really hope that Aiko and Naname sing together again. I really hope they do, because I really like their relationship. I liked how much they helped each other. I like how sincere they were with each other. I don't know when they would get a chance to sing again. I don't know if they'll ever do the street thing again, or maybe they'll sing together at the Summer Sonia. That would be cool. I don't think they'll go the route of Nanami joining them, because they have their own band. You know what I mean? But yeah, it'd be nice to see. It's always nice to see characters that are genuinely good characters and they add something to the story. Not just be used for this like little mini arc that they had right here, But yeah, that is your boy Kongming. I really hope there's a season 2 for this, because the first season was very good. It surprised me very much. Yeah, please let me know what you thought of this season. Let me know where it ranked for you in terms of the what season was this? This was the spring? Winter, spring. This was the spring season, right? Because yes, this was the spring season. So let me know how this ranked for you in overall spring season. I mean, especially with like new anime, right? Because there was quite a few sequels, this season. But let me know, and also let me know if you want to see season 2 and what you'd want to see in a season 2. Because I think they could do a very good job of extending the story out. But yeah, that is everything. Please go watch other episodes of this Cartoon Season podcast. All the places you can do that are in the description of this episode, as they always are. Go check out other content as well. I do reactions normally to animated related things, as well as gameplays. Those are a lot of fun. Please let me know what other things you want to see me, or I guess hear me, talk about, whether it be anime, cartoons, movies. As long as it's animated, it is on the table. And yeah, until next time, let us all hope that the anime industry will give us a season 2 of your boy Kongming. And please go watch more anime, more cartoons, all that stuff.